connecting with and advocating for the candidates that we believe you, the voters of Arizona, deserve, and that Arizona itself deserves.
Absolutely. And as faces of young conservatism at Great State Alliance, we've also begun what we believe is the movement for the next generation of conservatives.
Absolutely. And because of Great State Alliance and Generation Right Now, which is a combination between our podcast and a whole youth movement that we are very proud of, we've already begun to inform the youth of our country about the principles of life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, conservatism, and that it's worth protecting.
Absolutely. So we know you all have been anxiously awaiting these candidates. That's one of the main reasons you're here today. But before we turn the microphone over to them, we want to share with you some extremely important issues that we are facing in our cities, in our state, and in our nation.
Absolutely, and we'll keep it brief because I know you guys are already here. So obviously you know that Arizona is a pivotal state this election cycle. It really is the year that Arizona politics could be national politics, and I think it is. These elections are going to have a broader implication across the entire country as we are a tough battleground state this year.
Yeah, the future of the Supreme Court could really rest in the hands of Arizonians. That is how serious you guys are. That is how important when you go. Please remember, when you show up to the voting booths this year, you're changing the country for the better or for the worse. So keep that in your head, please. And even beyond that, again, even the presidential election is going to be decided by this beautiful state. So your vote to retain Trump and Pence versus allowing Biden and Harris to, exactly,
That's
can
right.
I get some boos for that?
Boo, let's do that, boo.
It's the difference between having a legitimate conservative Supreme Court or a packed liberal Supreme Court. Which one do you guys want? I think we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, can I just say that Joe Biden still hasn't answered if he's going to pack the Supreme Court, but that's not here nor there. Moving forward. So, I think it should be clear to all of us now, more than ever, that in the wake of COVID, the government shutdowns, takeover of our liberties, that elections have consequences, and including elections that are for what I think most people would assume are innocuous offices. We see things like school board, city council, county supervisors. I don't think anyone really knows what those people even do, yet apparently they shut our entire freaking state down. So there's a lot of tyranny going on in a pretty small office position, and we gotta start taking those seriously. We know that you care, that's why you're here today, but it's time to take action. You need to vote up and down the ballot for Republicans, for conservatives.
Yes, up and down.
Up and down the ballot. And I would just like to say, we have released a very comprehensive voting guide. Great State Alliance has.
Pick it up at any one of these
Yes,
booths. They're
it's
all over.
everywhere throughout the candidate area. They're everywhere. You can get one. It has basically every race other than school board. I know we had a limited amount of time, but we are working on school board on the website, so you can check back at greatstatealliance.com.
Judges, propositions.
Judges.
If you don't know on propositions, you vote no.
That's right.
Okay?
Do you know why? Because propositions are an unchangeable law. Once they're passed, they don't go away except by another proposition. That's like repealing an amendment that doesn't happen.
And it's going to increase taxes, increase regulation, and I'm pretty sure everyone here does not want that. So anyways, because we know elections have consequences, we have found it necessary, Colten and I, to attend dozens of events with these candidates, spend hundreds of hours interviewing them, so that we could put your mind at ease that on election day, you're voting for the best candidate possible. And the candidates that are speaking today, of course, are absolutely no exception.
They're absolutely amazing. First of all, we will have Senator Michelle Ugenti-Rita from the 23rd District.
Yes.
Yes.
She's awesome.
Yes. And she has spent years advocating in her position for election integrity and is an outspoken opponent of something we should all not be okay with, ballot harvesting. So
that's bad. Boo.
Michelle's
boo.
leading on that. Jim O'Connor, if you haven't heard his name, you need to. He's running one of 3 Republicans running for Corporation Commission. He's one of the only people standing between Arizona and Pelosi's Green New Deal, AOC's Green New Deal. It would be a disaster.
Please vote. And just so you know, some of these elections, when you're on your ballot, they're not going to say R or D.
Yeah, they're not partisan.
So take the voting guide in with you, which you can, so you know who to vote for. Moving right along, we're going to be having Marissa Hamilton. And she is a problem solver. Yes.
Marissa, come on.
She is capable of bringing Phoenix our beloved capital, the 5th largest city in the nation. Let me
Let's
remind you.
Let's hear it for Phoenix.
She's going to bring it, yes. She's going to bring it back stronger than ever, especially after the terrible mismanagement of the current Democratic mayor.
Awful.
And lastly, I want to hear you guys scream for him, because he is what is going to protect Arizona and stand up for each and every one of us. And that is Jerry Sheridan.
Yeah! Let's get some law and order.
He will not stand idly by the rioters, the looters, the ones that run rampant through our streets, commit crimes, and burn our cities. He will not tolerate it.
I hope you guys are excited for this candidate lineup as I am. It's going to be a powerhouse.
I'm so excited.
It's a powerhouse. So, before we turn things over, we do want to touch on an issue, which is basically media censorship, conservative censorship. So,
this is an issue.
Yes, it's huge. So we have a guest. It's very short, but she needs to tell her story. Her story is powerful. Great State Alliance and Generation right now know that the long-term future of the Republican Party and conservatism lies.
And it's not dead.
No, it's not dead, but it lies in our youth, and that's who we got to be reaching out to, and that's who we have to be protecting.
For that reason, we are dedicated to supporting and partnering with young conservatives that find themselves continued victims of social media censorship. I know Colten and I have been through it, and so many more, and I'm sure a lot of people here. Have you been censored by Facebook once or twice before?
Yeah.
Any other platform, and it's not okay,
yeah.
and we're here to combat that.
Yeah, I know myself and Great State Alliance get shadow banned about every other day. I can never share, I can never post.
And it's not acceptable.
Yeah, not acceptable. So, if we don't take action now, stories like that of Rayleigh Klein, who's going to be coming up, she's the former radio station manager of Arizona State University. Incredible at her age that she was doing that. Let me just say that. She's like 21, 22 years old.
Yeah, this is so awesome.
Yeah, so without further ado, Rayleigh, please come tell the people your
Rayleigh
story.
Klein,
Can we hear it for Rayleigh?
Let's hear it for Rayleigh.
Okay.
Thank you, Colten and Monet, for having me on. How are all my fellow patriots doing out here? Yeah? Good, I love it. Thank you for braving the heat. I know it's hot, it's sweaty, but we're here to back the red and the blue with all of our patriotism. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Rayleigh Klein, and I have no doubt that, like myself, the many of you here today are no stranger to the meticulous and sordid censorship from the left. You've been jailed by the Facebook police, you've been told what to and what not to post, and limited on your own free speech. And it's infected every corner of politics, media, and our civil discourse. It cloaks itself under the cover of decency and tolerance, but the truth is so much more sinister, because the censorship of free ideas and free speech, it's nothing more than a thinly veiled tyranny. And you know, the famous quote, they say it's the victors that write the history book, but in my case, they're not going to be the victors. I'm going to write this story. You're going to help me do it. But let's back up. It begins with this simple tweet. On August 29th, I shared an article from the New York Post on my personal Twitter page, and it outlined the sexual assault allegations and the arrest warrant against Jacob Blake that led to the Kenosha, Wisconsin shooting that's been in all the media headlines. I shared it with a simple caption, "There's always more to the story, folks, so please take the time to get this background of Jacob Blake's arrest warrant, because there is always more to the story. There's more truth that needs to be told by the media." And I said, you'll be quite disgusted, because as a young woman in a college setting, I was disgusted by the very graphic details of the sexual assault of an innocent woman. Who wouldn't be? Where's the Me Too movement on these issues? Where are they now? Why all of a sudden do they get to censor this? Because it doesn't fit the greater narrative, and the apparent truth doesn't fit the narrative, and they didn't want to hear it. So they came out and said that I was unfit to lead, that I had offended too many people by telling the truth, whatever that means. And students within the Cronkite School pressured me to resign from my position as station manager at Blaze Radio, which I've held for the past 2 years and have never had any issues with before. And I refused. I told cancel culture no. And those of you who know me know that one of my favorite sayings is, "My rights don't end where your feelings begin." Can I get an amen for that? They can't take that away. That is ours, and their feelings don't get to dictate and tell us what we can and cannot say. So through various meetings, the dean of the school actually stepped in and made the decision to side with the left and remove me from my position as station manager. But that like I said, that's far from how this story is. Yes, thank you. That's far from how this story is going to end. I'm the author of my life, so I'm going to write the narrative, and I'm going to show Arizona and the country what happens when you tell cancel culture no. When you stand up to it and say, this is not what America is, this is not something you can take away, and we're going to fight it. So I've hired an incredible attorney. We're moving forward to protect the First Amendment rights across college campuses in our country. And I think they're surprised. They didn't expect that. They've hurt and silenced too many people. And in the words of my lawyer, this is where it starts to turn around. With the strength of every single individual here, this is where the young conservatives of our country start to find their voice and their confidence to speak up for what they believe and protect the Constitution of the United States of America. My faith has been strengthened by this. God is good. He reveals his plans for each and every one of us in his own time, and he will help us to accomplish this goal. This oppression of free speech in universities, it's gone on long enough, and this is where it turns around. So despite this preeminent biases prevalent on our college campuses that are constantly seeking to suppress the values of conservatism, we will not be silenced. And I have a great thank you and a big blessing to Jeremy and the Great State Alliance and Generation right now for giving young conservatives like myself a safe and secure place to call home and to find that voice and develop that strength to stand up to the bigger issue here. So thank you all for your time here in my little spiel and attending this monumental event in Arizona. I know it's hot, but I appreciate you sticking out here with us to stand up for what's right in the Constitution. So if you'd like to learn more about how Great State Alliance is protecting future conservatism and young conservatives like myself, you can come find me. I'd love to talk to you, and I'll also be over at the Generation Right Now tent for more information on that organization and what we're doing. So God bless America, and thank you all for coming out today.
Well, I don't know about you, but that was moving, especially being in my early 20s. Again, like, it's bad for all conservatives, but they are really trying to stop the young ones. It is rough for us, but we're going to keep fighting. So.
Absolutely. And she just has a powerful
Thank
story.
You, Rayleigh.
Thank you, Rayleigh, for being here. Thanks for coming on the radio with us, the podcast with us, the interview on multiple occasions. Thank you for being a part of us.
She's going to make a difference in the conservative community. I just know it.
Absolutely. All right. So we're going to start moving into political speakers. What we do want to say is, unfortunately, Senator Martha McSally and Congresswoman Debbie Lesko both wanted to attend today and were unfortunately unable to. They send their deepest regret and condolences. But let me just say, the senator's race, McSally versus Mark Kelly, is potentially the biggest key race in this state this year. It could be the difference between us getting judges when Trump gets reelected or being completely locked out for 4 years.
Yep.
If you did not support McSally in the primary, it's time to suck it up and vote for McSally. I'm sorry.
We gotta unite.
I'm sorry.
Conservatives need to get together and unite. Come on, guys. It's time to vote for McSally.
It is. It's time to vote for McSally. Mark Kelly is anti-Second Amendment. He's corrupt. He's made deals with China. You need to vote for Martha McSally for Senate, okay? Yes.
And if you guys have any conservative beliefs at all, do you guys have conservative beliefs and values?
Yeah, I hope so.
Then you better be voting for McSally, okay? Again, just remember, they're out there working for you today.
They are.
These women, they're senators and congresswomen, and they're running. So they have to protect you and try to, continue providing for you while doing this. So again, they love you, they send their love, and they wish us all the best.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's jump right into it. Our live speaker kicking us off today is Michelle Ugeti-Rita from the 23rd District, Senator.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
We're so excited to have her.
We're so glad you were here. Please talk to the people.
I'm happy to talk to the people. That's what I love most.